There's a group of young professionals determined to make a difference in our community. Find out who they are on this edition of Greater Dayton Live. Hello and welcome to another edition of Greater Dayton Live, the program that profiles the people, places, and things that help to make Dayton great. I'm your host, Dan Suffoletto, and today we're going to be talking about Generation Dayton. And joining me today from Generation Dayton, we have Jessica Armstrong, who is the co-vice chair of Generation Dayton, and Andrea Livingston, who is the community service chair. Thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Jessica, for those people who are watching us right now who are not familiar with Generation Dayton, can you just tell them a little bit about what Generation Dayton is?
Yeah, Generation Dayton is an organization of young professionals in the Dayton region. We are affiliated with the Chamber of Commerce, so we get access to all of the chamber benefits and resources. Really, our mission is just to attract and retain youth in the Dayton area and really keep talent and creativity here in the Dayton region.
Now, when you say youth, is there an age limit or an age group you're looking for?
We say under 40, but we don't card.
Okay, great.
Everybody's welcome. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Andrea, could you tell us a little bit about how you came to become involved in Generation Dayton and what you do professionally?
Sure. I am with American Family Insurance. I own an agency in Kettering. I'm a native of Dayton, Ohio, so when I graduated from Ohio State and moved back here, I was ready for a new Dayton experience. So I joined, and it kind of refreshed Dayton for me. It opened me up to a lot of events that I didn't know were going on. It introduced me to a lot of young professionals that I don't know if I would have ran into otherwise.
Okay, sounds good. And Jessica, same question to you.
Yeah, I was the classic graduated college and had to get out of Ohio. So I off and moved to Washington, D.C., and after a year I was like, man, I really love Dayton. I'm going to go back. So I came back, and a lot like Andrea growing up in Dayton, I didn't just want to go back in my high school bubble. So I joined Generation Dayton and kind of hit the ground running. I think leaving made me realize how much I loved it, so I really wanted to get involved. And now I have a network of 250 new friends that I wouldn't have known that weren't part of my high school network. So it did really open my eyes to the community.
Now, I know professional development is a key cornerstone of Generation Dayton. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the development activities that you guys do?
Yeah, Aileron is a big one. With Clay Mateel, we also do a speaker series. About 4 a year, we try to do breakfast, lunch, and after hours to cater to all types of schedules. We also have some resume workshops, networking up. Vicki Gambrone from the Dayton Children's came and talked to us about how to network with executives in your company and the types of things that they look for. So really year after year, we try to just pick a topic and really hone in and give our members something to kind of advance themselves outside of, a traditional social or networking opportunity.
Now, one thing I liked when I went to one of the events was they had the speed networking. Yeah. And I know, Andrea, probably in your profession, networking is one of the keys. Did you participate in the speed networking?
I was there at the speed networking. It was an amazing event. We were at Coco's Bistro. I believe it was in January, so it was one of our first events this year. We had roughly 30 young professionals out. It was organized, you set up at a table, and then you just had a minute to speak with each one, introduced, exchanged a lot of business cards, and I've made good connections through it.
Yeah, personally, that's my favorite event. And it's so popular that we do it now twice a year, usually in the winter and then again in the fall.
Yeah, so it was a really great event, the one that I went to. Now, I also know that community service is a big thing that Generation Dayton does. Can you tell us about some of the community service activities that you're involved in?
Sure. So far this year, we've been out with Habitat for Humanity, House of Bread. We last week we just participated in a Get Behind the Bar fundraiser for the Care House. That was kind of aligned with our Thirsty Thursday, which is another event that we have through Generation Dayton. But it was a great time. We had 60 plus young professionals and members of the Attorneys Association out there supporting the Care House.
And I know as far as community service goes, Jessica, many of your members participate in area nonprofit organizations. They serve on boards. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we definitely encourage our members, although, you know, Generation Dayton, we say, is the premier young professional network, right? We definitely encourage our members to get out and volunteer in other organizations. Our steering committee is actually really involved. We've got people on the Bell Board, Beaver Creek Young Professionals, Austin Landing Young Professionals, Up Dayton, you name it, Ballet, Bar Association. We like to see our members out and about all over, so.
Now, speaking about getting out, you have a big day coming up there where all Generation Dayton members are going to be getting out into the community, doing a lot of great things. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Andrea?
Sure. This is my favorite event of the year. It's Gen D Day or Generation Dayton Day. It's going to be May 1st. And it marks our organization's anniversary. So how we like to celebrate that is by getting out and giving back to the community by partnering with local nonprofits and volunteering with them.
Now, tell us a little bit about some of the activities that they're going to be participating in.
Sure. This year we have a lot of outdoor activities. So we're partnering with organizations such as We Care Arts, Oregon District Business Association, Garden Station, and primarily we'll be out cleaning up the streets. So we'll be picking weeds, getting trash up, making sure flower beds are ready to make Dayton a pretty place.
Now, this program will be airing on DATV throughout the year, so if someone's catching this mid-year, tell people how they can get involved for next year's.
Sure. Send me a link or send me an email. You can contact LaDonna. She is our chamber liaison, and we would love to work with any of the nonprofits out there.
And actually, mark your calendar for the first Friday every May. We usually hold it on that date, so.
Okay, and is there a fee to participate for the organizations? Or?
No, it's free.
No fee, maybe buy you a couple of Cokes and a pizza or something like that, right?
You don't even have to
Lots
do
of
that.
work.
Yeah, you don't even have to buy us anything. So the day, how it's set up, we kick off at the Kroc Center and we have a lunch. There'll be an inauguration speech. We'll partner there with our site leads. You'll work with them, then you'll go out. So we will be completely fed and ready to work.
We actually send everybody with water too, so
great.
the sites don't even have to worry about that. We have really great sponsors who help us on that day to make sure that the sites don't have to worry about those types of things.
And I know you do work with businesses in other areas. What can Generation Dayton do for a business if I'm a business owner and I want to get either my employees involved or just somehow be involved with Generation Dayton?
There's definitely a business benefit to keeping young professionals in the area. So we kind of thrive in that way by keeping young professionals here. But secondly, like DP&L, for example, they're our lead sponsor. I was just there last week meeting with their young professionals. They've started a young professional network internally. So we're partnering with them, talking to their employees about, you know, how great Dayton is and getting involved in the community. So I think anytime you get young professionals to get their roots in Dayton, it just keeps them there and thriving, and then they're leaning into your organization more because you're supporting them in doing that.
Now, if I'm a young professional watching at home or on my smartphone, wherever you may be watching this, how do I get involved in Generation Dayton?
The best place to go is generationdayton.org, but because young professionals are very social in nature, we've made sure to cover all of the social media networks. So you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell us about Generation Dayton? Maybe tell us again about the Community Service Day one more time, when it is and how people can get involved.
Sure. So it's going to be May 1st. It's from 12 till 5. You can get involved by going to generation.org. There's a very quick link that you just fill out a registration form. From that form, you can either choose the site that you want to work at, or we will assign you one if you have no preference. The day it is set up, we will meet at the Kroc Center and have lunch, a kickoff, and then we will work with our site leads, go out and volunteer from 1 to 5. And we'll conclude the day with an after party. The after party this year will be at Brick's Ice House downtown, and it is hosted by Heidelberg, one of our sponsors.
Okay, I want to thank you very much for joining us here today on Greater Dayton Live. We want to thank our viewers for joining us, and we will see you next time on the next edition of Greater Dayton Live.